Tlachonach yekea yuxatini, yachana, chaltakat yuhan. Yaha yukatangi data ya yinak. Tleidihina ya chana kawanig, keochne. Just yuhana ya, hayukatangi dat. Gendegachinaki. Heshakut ka. Yewa achtu asagu yisaku. Wasa achtu yekea dat yejini. Atchsati atawe kanachawe hayukatangi. Atchisati tsu. Atwe tlachanach yeke wushgate batua ati. Ye awa chaltakat ye de ayakach ye art. Achtua sagu hayukatangi ye in chsati. Aqa hashil kohas ye in chaskach sati. Ye in chatgach sati tsu. Ganchi shayak adenkai aqu. Ye go ayakwan. Kashkartli khait shani at ayaha yukatangi at khtushayehi. Achtua sagu choya kasegu yachyati. Adeyu khayil at giya. Ye awa wujin khasati yakhana. Chayek kenkaya daku kutakusi. Kahayu katangi. Achawe atlena we uhan hashia dehain. Gagi has yandahun ayah hashil kohas. Yahasti tawasagu hat yichait has ausaachi. Yike at awe konach. Tashach tuashku adach akayichait. Wujin ayah yagachtitlaq. Wujin khasati yakhana. Kakanachawe yike. Achtuasagu yisakwa achi. Chatasa yisaku. Kanachawe yike yakiyati. Ita akawe has outlayech. Ya hashish kohas. Hastu da aka ya gachtutlayech. Ya ha itikaku. Ha itikaya. Ha tuasagu. Kashke gochledzi. Ya hastu chenach aya. Shingit chenach ya kanadeni. Achwe ya kehayati. Wujin. Tachonach yike. We translate parts of that. It's so good that we're all together. It's so good that there's many of us who are learning Shingit and sharing what we know and what we're learning. Because we got some numbers here, our culture is going to come out a little bit in our language. There's this phrase, Gagi has yandahun. Their faces are peering out. That's how King Yées described it one time when he came to our class. It's as if you were to look into the woods and you'd see these faces looking. And it's not scary. It's our ancestors, the ancestors of this place, who would like to come and listen. No matter what you know, no matter how you've been working on this, there's a place that's been made for you, and you're in that place. It's good that you're here. It's good that we're together. It's good that we're doing this work. When we share language with one another, we grow in strength. There's a place that was made for us, and we're going to make a place for future generations so that it's not hard for them to talk. That's really one of my primary goals, is how do we just make it easier and easier and easier and easier. So I'm really happy that there's many of us, and that we're getting to see each other's faces and hear each other's voices. And I've asked you all to share your name and one sentence. So my name is Chune, and my sentence would be from Chechne Nor Downhauer. Gedein yudutsene, shinkit yukatangiti. I just keep that with me all the time. It's like you improve it by using it, the Tlingit language. the more you talk, then the less it gets stuck in your mouth or stuck in your hands. I think she said, they haven't pried it out of their hands yet. Or that's it. So, Xíxch. We'll just do an open forum. Whoever wants to go, share your name and share one sentence.
Sháatk, aya. Ach, to wusigu. You chwasatini. Xíxch.
Xíxch.
Kúkar Katganuk, you cut to a sock. Clago hitsati doch hitchihit, clock on hitchihit doch connected. Hitch nacheen, aya, Xíxch.
Okay. Xíxch. Aawasháa is me.
Xíxch.
Scar uur gaat door Sháatk, Lingi chénach, Aawasháa chatsati, Aawasháa aya duwane.
Xíxch.
Yées kagu you do sock. Aawasháa di hain. There are many of us, too many to count.
Okay.
Mutsaga yuchatu saku Liz aya Aawasháa. De kik ushge ilshat at Yées.
Xíxch. Okay.
Bob Fagan, yuchatu sak, hoots uhu ach skoon sayi yati, askutu ashkuyat, shahas at has at gadli has at she. Hutoy.
Xíxch.
Sani yuchatu sak. Yake away ade yada huni. It is good to look at the faces of my ancestors. Xíxch.
Yakecha.
Ja, du gaat. Oh, ikwa.
Tashisachoach chachtzin. Yuchietanike. Tashdasa.
Nick Aawasháa, Lacey, Washington, Yéchut Yati, Xíxch.
Xíxch. Okay.
Jiku yuchatu sak, Kwanlink Yéchut.
Okay. Xíxch.
Ja, du gaat. Aawasháa Aawasháa leka kenak frankatas yuchatu sak. Aktuak segu ye yak sakai yigoa khon lekat yuhan yigoa khon anyat kusani yigoa khon A chunkian. Yeah, Utua.
Xíxch, Echa. Tukaki Aawasháa Kachtin.
Okay. Kachtinach sai. Nyat kusani shakakach. Yat yakini yake kosatini stakat yuhan.
Xíxch. Uski. If you're in this room, we have microphones in the room, so you don't have to turn your audio on.
Be here in the thing. What? Be here, sit here. Oh.
Okay, good.
I understand Tlingit maybe.
Okay. Xíxch.
Kusin yochatuasach. Luka adi ayahat kagwantan yadi. Akik awagak amchat. Xíxch.
Xíxch, Echa. Do Itza. We'll do Ida's room. We'll come to you folks at the end. There was a bit of audio difficulty, so. Anybody else in this room or on? Oh, it's Xíxch.
Xíxch. Sháatk you do a sack. Which in yagak tuslak kusaktin.
Oh, okay. Xíxch. Small disclaimer before we do the next one. Nobody cares about correct grammar here. Just let it fly.
Okay.
Ataya, Juan Tlein, you had to a sock. Linget you atangi. Ayach kugach to ste. Xíxch, which way?
Okay. Xíxch. Ilka kuge aqayil tuchtla.
Xíxch, Nachakuge Aawasháa Katu Kawech ish you dusago du Dakchan Aawasháa. My mother's grandparents were Katu Ka and Kwech ish, or otherwise known as Annie Lawrence and Matthew Lawrence.
Xíxch. Echa. Il tuchtla. Il koha.
You had to sock. Kusiat Konlin Kidat Talk Hade Yakanahin Yadaka on E Kach.
Okay. Juya hashukaki ti ya kaya tlestlate would do tlestlate to teen tlatkika just shashaki.
Yak Satini Yuhan, Slingakanach, Kashuk Kawada Ya Yuchat do a sock. On Tlakak Enach, Scott Burton, Yuchat do a sock. My sentence, I once heard King Gesti, David Katzig say, the trees are dancing. It was really windy out one day. And the closest I've come to translating that is, We as an has as ech. And Kune, I may need help with that, but I love that vision of the trees dancing in the wind. Xíxch.
Okay, Xíxch.
Jeremy Simmons, you had to a sock. Skagwech Yatsu Tat Kunach Shaklagay. Xíxch.
Okay. Shaqaqat wutletish ya lilkohas ani shqakwe. Okay. Who didn't we?
Each da you had do a sock kunach yakeye yat gani. That is my attempt to, I'm a high school teacher here in Portland, Oregon, to welcome all my students to in-person school this fall a couple of weeks ago, because all of the last 5 quarters of school, we were doing Zoom, and high school students don't turn on their cameras. So just a couple weeks ago was the first time I saw their faces in 16 months.
Oh, okay. Xíxch.
Elias Yuchatusak, Yake Wush Kanach Wuturiat. And sorry, my camera is off. I'm having some troubles with it right now, so.
Twasa oti. Xíxch.
Michael, you
Oh, you go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Eskaya. Hunadach. Hunayeka yaki. Actually. Baktuisiku. Stakatuhan. Gunopsis yes tutla where yes kanet skatnigi. Anjatlahas dag gunopsis yak a like souk. From Johnny Mark's weather thing that I ran into, and I don't want to lose it again. Today's Xíxch. And what I wrote for his translation was the mountains are putting hats around their heads. It's going to rain.
Oh, hi. Okay. Xíxch.
Well, Xíxch.
Okay.
Michael, you do saku. Wichita Kruch City.
Xíxch. Yakecha. Adu sa uyech. Is that everybody online?
Yake Satini Sakatuhan, Bush Tlein Yuchat do a Sháatk. Ach tu Yesake. Xíxch Utoe.
Xíxch. Yakecha.
Jimmy Nahesh, Yuchat do a Sháatk. Sakat Yuhan Kukatishan. I just came across that verb, so I thought I would practice it. It means it is a sight to behold. Not sure if the grammar checks out, but
Okay.
Xíxch.
Xíxch. It's easy to stare at, but it could be seen at. Okay. Xíxch.
Okay. Yanda Xíxch do a Sháatk. Shingergate. Shangergate Archat. Dachgate on Yelichatati. What you can eat that can. That's what city. I'm going to Xíxch.
Yakeich Satini. Xíxch hain Chesati.
Preston, you had to a Sháatk. Kijin dis Shunahich Junot Khalitsu.
Okay. Xíxch. Okay.
Brenna, you had to a Sháatk. Yake J1 Wasatin Xíxch.
Xíxch. Yakecha. Anyone else online or in this room we haven't heard from? Oh, okay.
Okay, okay, sorry. Yukitutu, Yuchatuasak, Ganak Tedi Ayachat, Achtuusigu, Shinget, Shatakal Tu.
Okay, cheese.
Okay, I'm happy to be and I'm learning Klingit.
Yeah, what? Okay.
Lingek enach Sajika Yuchatuasak, Khutnu Kwan, Dach Ayachat, Desantahini. Aya. Yuk e Kwasatini.
Gonna cheese. Okay,
Lila Toraya, Achtu Yuk e Yuk Atangi Khwachi, that's gonna cheese.
Okay, gonna cheese.
Hagungach Yuchatuasak, Glikachinach, Redjack Yuchatuasak, Achtu Litzstein.
Okay. Cheese, Hayin Ki Nigi. Okay,
Tlein Yuchatuasak, Mushroomstad, Akakwashaguk, Aktwasagu.
Oh.
Cheese Hoojawa.
Okay, gonna cheese. Quasi Stakat Hess Aya, just way Ida Kaku. Quasi Ide Kakwaha. Hechwa. Are the microphones not working in there? Technology ruins the dream. Okay.
Casey Lee Ayachat. The term that I wanted to share is akat sewak ak, which is I forgot.
Okay, good cheese.
You've been told by the time.
I guess I'll go. Nathaniel Aawasháa. I wanted to share something you might need to say more often in this class in Klingit, which is Itina Hadyati, which is I need some water. I'm not ready.
You're not ready?
No, I'm still building my sentence.
I mean, Nathaniel stole my sentence, but I can say the same one again. Oliver, Yuchatuasak, Kachin, Itina Hadyati,
Okay, good cheese.
Zeif you had to a sock. Ye too, that's schlitzing. My grandma used to say that to us in English. You're precious. And then, what's his name? David Katzig told us how to do it. So, ye too, schlitzing.
Good cheese.
Name's Kaylee. My sentence is Anubiak Hena Akajunya Yachat Duasak, which is in Inupiaq, I am called Akajunya.
Oh, good cheese. Okay.
Got exactly one person ahead of you.
What's going on?
I love the searching camera.
That was quite off. Kaylee James Aksai Lingi Kena Shikits you had to sock. Claire Ge Wasa E.T. which is are you okay?
Tlein good cheese.
I recently learned my grandpa's name, so my sentence is Achli Ye Du Sagen Wat Maan.
Okay, good cheese.
Sila Ayachat and then Ox to Sigru.
Okay, good cheese.
You ready? Yeah. Kylie Rose Wooten Saye to
Okay, good cheese.
You ready? It's SU.
I have one more word to learn.
Share what you got.
Okay. Tabu K I don't know how.
Go ahead, Juan.
Pronunciation doesn't matter.
Like.
Okay. Hansa. Wow. What I'm trying to say is yesterday the weather's when the weather is getting cold, hopefully you stay covered. But I can't find covered.
Oh, like for clouds to be on or something?
I think he means like blankets to be like staying
Yes.
covered up.
Yeah, I tried looking up jacket. I couldn't find that.
Oh.
Warm. I couldn't find that. So.
Your name?
Oh, my Tlingit name is Conquera.
Good cheese. Okay, huh? At your hand again. Hey, welcome to Xíxch. So every now and then we'll just sort of think of something to share, and whatever you want to share is good enough. We're not ever looking for perfection. We're also not judging anybody. We're just having a chance to just visit with each other a little bit. Not the easiest thing to do through Zoom. For future reference, for some folks in this room, I think it might have been hard to hear, so I gotta think about that. I got 3 microphones close together. We might move them a little bit so they're a little bit apart. In Ida, in your room, there's a few folks we couldn't really hear too much at all. So I know you were asking a question there, but I couldn't quite hear what you were saying, so I wasn't not paying attention or ignoring the question. I just couldn't quite hear it. So as we do this more, we'll think about that, and we'll think about how to overcome some of the technologies. It's always a difficult thing, but it does bring us together. So I thought what we could do next is I could plug my computer in so it doesn't go to sleep. And then I thought we'll do 100 inspirational phrases. And the way that I think we'll do this is we will, I'll say them, and you folks can repeat. We'll do each of them twice, I think. And if you have something to say or a question about it, please ask. So bear with me while I pull open the document. That's not it. The tippy tap stuff was fun though. So these are phrases of encouragement. Oops, I want that. So this is Gold Belt Heritage Foundation put this together. I do believe Yées, Vivian Mork started this project, and then Kagwask, Ishmael Hope took it over, and then I did a few edits and additions. And there's quite a few folks that this is a product of their work as well. Kirchne, Nora Marks Dowenhauer, Hoyenak, Richard Dowenhauer, Constance Nash, Jillian Story, Carrie Eggleston, Paul Marks, Florence Shakely, David Katzik, Fred White, Marcia Hotch, James Crippen. So here we go. Phrase number 1. And you can see the English, so I'm not going to read the English. I'll say it. Y'all just repeat. Iyake.
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 Kudzi.
Kudzi.
Kudzi. Yake Janae.
Yake
Janae.
Yake.
Here's row 1. Any thoughts or questions?
Could Kudzi also mean awesome?
Yes, it could mean awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. And I usually translate it as amazing, but you know, those are very similar things. The first one, iyake, is a verb with a second person singular object. Same object pronoun as in itlekudzi. Yake, iyejnei, is a verb followed by a noun. It is good, your work, which is also a noun. It's a verb that's been turned into a noun. Okay. Next row down. Aktuwu kleke ikach.
Aktuwu kleke ikach.
Aktuwu kleke ikach. Yakkitlak.
Yakkitlak.
Yakqitlaq. Yaqitzige.
Yakitsuge.
Yaqitzige.
Yakitsuge.
Any thoughts about those?
The clé de choux number 6 is one of the 4 pillars.
Yeah, away. Yeah, away. So Kingisti would talk to us about these 4 pillars of the Tlingit thought world. And it's always important for folks to hear that they are intelligent. The first one, all 3 of these have verbs in them. Xíxch is the verb for this one. Achtuwu, my thoughts, intentions, feelings, spirit, is beautiful, which put those together and you have proud. Ikach, for you. Yakkitlaq is also a verb, future, mode, second person singular. Yaqitzige, another verb, imperfective, second person singular subject. Anybody know how to say, can someone tell me how to say, I am intelligent? It's your chance to say it without bragging. You're just answering a question. Yaquchtzige. Yaquchtzige. Don't say that in front of me. Don't say it.
I was on mute.
Oh, you're on mute? You had it? Okay. Next row. Ishlitzin. Ishlitzin. Iguayachwan. Iguayachwan. Ituwuklatsin chwan. Ituwuklatsin chwan. Any thoughts or questions about that row?
Today we found a mouse in the office, and I told someone when they were grabbing it, Igor Juan.
There you go. That is appropriate. We found a mouse in our house, but the cat had already, she laid it out there for us. Like, they were all the pets.
I got a question. Number 9, Tlein, is that just referring to where, like your inner place with the K?
Okay. Somebody tell me, why is there a K on there? Anybody?
Is it imperative? Got conjugation?
Yes. So what you have here is a command form. So Tlitzin is strong. This is saying something is strong. If you're going to do a command form, the classifier has to change like this, and it's a ga conjugation, which means this is what you're going to have. There's one thing is the classifier. We go from the left of the verb root. There's sha and then ga. But if we have to put I in there, because that's an object pronoun. Command form, you have to keep that object pronoun there if it's there. So in that case, I plus ga plus sha, the rule of threes, Richard Downhauer called this 3 strikes and you're out. Something's going to contract here. There's nothing to contract here. Nothing's going to knock that sha out of there. So when this contracts, it goes to a K. This would be the command form to tell someone to be physically strong. Like you're trying to encourage them to lift the weight or something. Iklatsin. That's why this vowel before the verb is pushing that to become pshatsin. Good question.
So the ga means it's like a command in front of it.
Yes, like a lot of us would know, what is this verb? Yak'e. Good. What if I say iyak'e?
Be good.
You are good.
Oh.
How do I say be good as a command?
Oh, is it ikayake?
Ikake.
Ikake, huh?
Ikake. But this one, the parts are you, ya, for the command, 0. So there's no threes because the 0 marker doesn't count as a thing. So it doesn't have to become, couldn't become ikake because that you can't say that.
Enlightening. Xíxch.
This one is saying, another way to translate that would be have courage, be brave. You'll hear it usually with khwan or kha at the end. For some reason, like it just sounds a little bit maybe incomplete if you say ituklitsin. I've always heard kha or khwan at the end of it. Iguaya khwan is another one. I put the exclamation point if it's some sort of command or prohibitive. Do it, don't do it. That's all that sort of shows you. It doesn't mean you have to yell. Next row. Xíxch. Itushaan.
Itushaan.
Itushaan. Xíxch itashitchik.
Chick.
Hey itashitchik. It's the hardest one we've said so far, so don't give up, literally. The fifth is don't. Fifth. The tree part will sometimes pop up in certain verbs. If you haven't figured out why, we'll talk about why. Idashitchik. There is the subject. There is the classifier, duh. There is the verb root, shit, which means to throw something so that it scatters. One time I was working with elders and I paid them in cold hard cash because I didn't, I guess it's being recorded. I want them to pay taxes. So sometimes I'll be like, here's a bunch of cash. I got it they got some kind of grant. And so I'll pay the taxes. You guys have fun. And it was Kachwanish, George Davis, and Shakshan, he marched Dudson. I was like, here you go. And she was laughing. And then she looked at me and she said, oh, it's real? I said, yeah. And she said, I'm going to go throw this all over the place so it scatters. And that's a metaphor for like wasting your money. But she was just having fun. Anybody tell me what this J is doing on here? There's a habitual suffix, which is a CH, which means happens all the time.
Oh.
You put a suffix onto that, it'll turn into a J. Because a CH will turn into a J when you put a vowel suffix right after it. The shish part is like it's like these two little bookends. Shish starts the don't. The underlined K, which sometimes is either ik or uk, that closes it. Those two things combine with some other stuff to say don't do the verb. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions about this row?
Is it just author preference when a command is often called con?
Yeah, well, one is sort of like may you or lest you, but it doesn't really do the same thing as please, but kind of sometimes does if you don't want to sound as bossy. So it kind of takes some of the bossiness off of it. But the first time I tried it with my kids, like I didn't speak English with them. And so there's another word, kwan. So I said, "Achitsa inhin kwan." And she said, "I'm not a boot." So she just thought it was the noun for like boots. I was like, well, whatever. There is another form where they'll say keth kwan something, and they'll say, lest you not do this. So sometimes it's built into the verb as a specific form. Next row. Yisaku.
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 Day Yisaku.
Yisaku.
Day Yisaku.
Yisaku.
Yende kakihan.
Yande kihan.
Yende kakihan.
Yande kihan.
It can also mean you will remain standing. The day can pop up before a verb to say it's already happened. Any questions about this one?
If you were to say Yisakugi, is that like a did you know it?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So this would be the Teslin dialect. Other folks would say ge. So Yisiku ge. Do you know it? Yisiku ge. And just so that you know how to say it, but be careful with this one. What would this be? Deirsiku. I already know it, right?
I already know it.
So you got some know-it-all trying to tell you everything, In the right place, it's a good phrase to know. Or if someone's trying to explain something and you're just trying to tell them, I already know it. Just be careful.
Yeah.
You don't want to, and when I say be careful, you don't want to brag about yourself. You just got to be careful, that's all.
Got to make a pin out of that one.
I already know it.
That's how you'd ask, do you know everything? Okay. Next row. Atunach ke ikwawat.
Tunach ke ikwawat.
Atunach ke ikwawat.
Akunach ke ikwawat.
Udachsawewe anyatku.
Udachsawewe anatku.
Udachsawewe anyatku.
Anyatku.
Janak. Janak. Any questions about this one? This row. Yeah, and this could literally mean for someone to drop something or for someone to release something. Next row. Ide shtuka khatati. Ide shtuka khatati.
Ide shtuka khatati.
Okay, the next one. Ide shtuka khatati khatu wachak.
Dash to Gahat, the touch or drop.
Uwajak.
Ideshtuqa khat to teach khat uwajak.
The teach cut uwachak.
That's the
Uwajak.
longest one. That's the longest one we've done so far. That one's kind of funny. It's, khat uwajak is not that funny. It literally means it killed me. But then you have ideshtuqa khat to tea. The CH on the end here says this verb is actually a noun doing something.
Mhm.
It also means it's always happening. Is that
It's a yes, but that's a different one.
different? All
They
right.
just happen to sound exactly the same.
Oh, the CH on the end is like the one who's verbing? Is
Yeah, yeah. So you can say chach, wa'ech,
It's a
hooch.
different CH, but it sounds the same.
Yes.
Oh.
But it's rare. It's not very common you'd put this onto a verb. But if you were to say like you could say, we eat yan uhaich uwajak, his hunger killed him. Which could be funny, but it could also be like, could be kind of serious, I guess. Ach tuwu yakeh.
Tuuyake.
Ach tuwu yakeh.
Tuuyake.
Any other questions about that row? Okay, we'll try to get to we'll see. We gotta take a break at some point too. Ach tuwu wuduwaga.
Tuuyake.
Ach tuwu wuduwaga.
Tuwu wuduwaga.
Ach tuwu yakeh satini. Ach tuwu yakeh satini. Yakeh satini.
Yake ichsatini.
Yakeh satini.
Satini.
This first part, we're going to just look at this prefix of this verb right here. It is ichsa. Ichsa. I would probably say there are really only two vowels in here. I and a. In the middle, you have which it goes. There's no vocal in there. I do think there's a tendency to want to put like like just someone we just often sneak another vowel in there because if you say I see you, this is what it looks like. Ichsatin. Ichsatin. There's this I and the I, and on either side of it is you're making a while you're rounding your lips, and it goes right into an S. There's also I will see you, and this does have I, and sa.
Right.
Ye ikwasatin.
Ye ichwasatin.
Ye ikwasatin.
Ye ichwasatin.
Yak e ichsatini. Any questions about that row? We're only 1/4 of the way through. We better move fast. Yak e ichsatini.
Yake ichsatini.
Yake yuchsatini. Achtuwu sagu. Achtuwu sagu. Achtuqayati.
Tukagati.
Achtuqayati. Any questions or thoughts about those ones?
Why does it go minus I in number 24?
So if these were two different sentences, Yake and Yuchsatin, that's what they would look like. But if it's good to see you, then the way we tie them together is this goes minus I and gets this suffix. That's pretty much the way that we call it a subordinative clause. It's this because of that, or it's this to that. So same with this. So you could say, Yak'e ach tuwu sagu. It's good that I'm happy, which is kind of a strange thing, but maybe it is. It probably is good to be happy, right? But basically, that's what you're going to do. Yak'e ituwu wudugaye. It's good that you feel at peace. So what you're going to end up with is the second verb that's being tied to the first one is going to look just like a negative perfective with that suffix added onto it. And that suffix is going to follow the same rules as the possessive suffix.
Kunal?
Oh,
So the second last syllable usually, or the verb usually, stem usually goes long and low, and then the relative marker high.
yeah.
What if it's a verb where the stem never changes?
Yeah, so if you said something like, yuck, I would go, yuck, a. I'll put this on its own line. That's what I would do. I would say, yuck, a. It's good that you're good, right? So I think it would just follow those same rules of the possessive suffix, which is it's the opposite of the one before it, but because the subordinative clause is the same form usually as the negative perfective, those are always long, almost always long and low. I think they are always long and low. Xíxch. Those are good questions. Do one more line. Maybe. Then we'll take a break. Maybe. Question. Ye away. Ye away. Ye away. Ye chawe. Ye chawe. Ayachawe. Ayachawe. Those are three of almost the same thing. Slight differences. That is how it is. That's how it is, you see. That is correct. If someone from the opposite clan is speaking and you agree with what they say, these are really good things to yell at them. That's something that Tlingit does culturally. Otherwise, if you're up there talking and nobody says anything, you kind of feel like you're going to cow decay, like you're just failing. Man. Or that nobody's listening to you. It's a lot like there's certain churches where they yell amen and they yell stuff. And if the preacher was just really going and nobody was yelling, he'd probably be like, oh man, bunch of sinners, right? And so, but as far as cultural protocols, Usually there's specific people who would be yelling these things. However, sometimes you gotta be the person. So it's part of our oratory and our oral traditions to use these, but it's also good in conversation, right? Someone's saying something and you agree with it. Ye away. That is how it is. A yach away. That is correct. So if someone's explaining something and you think they did a really good job, those are ways you can let them know. Any thoughts on those ones?
Question for Yahweh. I've now heard as I get older, some people using at the end of prayers.
Yeah, it works okay, I think, at the end of a prayer. Because this is sometimes you would say it to sort of close off a speech sometimes. And if you listen to the way that people close up a speech, sometimes they'll say Yahweh. And that they're not saying like, that's everything I just said, that's it. They're just sort of saying, that's it. That's my speech. I heard
I've also heard people say it in response to like after somebody says, you know, amen, and then they say Yahweh.
that works. Yeah, I think it works really well.
I always kind of thought of those phrases, even like Aawasháa, is kind of like being a witness to whatever somebody's saying. And if you're really feeling it, just belt it out.
Yeah, it kind of cements it into oratory, right? And then if someone tries to dispute me, I'm like, they said Yahweh. They confirmed it.
Already got a second.
Yeah, but these are good things. It's culturally it's good things to know this stuff. And then you could turn these you could turn these into questions, especially this one and that one. So if you want to take a break, you got to answer this. How would I say, is that how it is?
Yeah, quoi?
Oh, somebody wants to take a break. And how would I say, is that correct? Okay, you all have earned your break. Goodness, Xíxch Tlein. Cajun win it's kwati. On. I'm very kind, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I'm mostly teasing.
Hey, Kune. See, I gotta turn off. It's just deleted out of there. Can you see? It's crazy. Come on, man.
Cookie shaped like a chill camp blanket.
It is. I got you 2 of those boxes, man. This time it has cream in it.
Oh, cheese. Oh, goodness, Xíxch.
I'll send it on the plane tomorrow.
Ooh. Clock on again?
Clock on.
Okay.
I got this great audio of John Marks, Mr. Kadashan, and Jenny Marks.
Whoa.
And they're talking about stick gambling. They got a Gunch song about chewing.
Let's do.
We get a chance sometime.
Let's get to work on it.
All in Shinggit, the majority.
Kun wanet sao yech dechege. Gwelly.
Leaf. Kuyani get? What is leaf? Leaf.
Kayani.
Kayani.
Kayan. You could say Ost. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Sometimes I'll say Kayani. Kayani could be leaf, vegetable, vegetation.
Will this PowerPoint be on the Tlingit language site?
Yep. Yeah, aware. And we just got to adjust that. Yeah, aware. This is the way.
I haven't seen it on Facebook.
People were fast to come up with Yoda Yeti. I think Andachtin maybe came up with it first. Okay, folks. A couple things to note. This is a document that's in Pages right now. I have a Word version of it and a PDF version of it. All three of those will be on thinkitlanguage.com. Probably, I'll just put it under Advanced Tlingit, I guess. So let me show you folks in case you're curious. I got a picture of the Mandalorian looking at me right now. Hold on. Oops. How was that? So this is tlingitlanguage.com. If you go to Learning Tlingit and Advanced Tlingit, this is where I will upload that. So it'll go, this says Tlein 04, there'll be Tlein 06 right there. It's probably where I'll put the recording for tonight since it's the night for Advanced Tlingit. There's also Intermediate Tlingit, so if your folks are between semesters or you got a bunch of time on your hands, you can always watch recorded classes that we do here. But if you're worried about wanting to write stuff down, feel free to write stuff down, but also know that there'll be a copy of it that'll be available that you could download, use. These are good phrases. Before we keep going with this, anybody got any thoughts or questions?
Are these in order
Are they in order?
from the most important to the least? Or
No, I think they're just like just like 100 inspirational phrases. Not in any. Sometimes I guess there's kind of themes sometimes to them. Yeah, good question. Okay. Xíxch. Xíxch.
Sheesh.
Yées.
Yay. Ah.
Yées. Yées.
Yeah. A.
Yées. Yées. Yechayati.
Ayati.
Yechayati.
Society.
Xíxch.
Goodness. Sheesh. Ah.
Xíxch.
Xíxch.
Anything about those rows?
Ka and ka. What do
Ah.
The same thing.
Kanask. Is that one for the future, like you will see, or like it's good right now in front of you?
So this word cha is sort of like, not like in English, like as in like you see it or you can see. It's like this, you see? It just puts emphasis on something. So cha and do a very similar thing. And cha can also become cha. So what they do is they just say, pay attention to this thing. So this is the same one you use when you give someone a name. Like if we're gonna name this gucha Ted, we'd say Ted, and we'd do it 4 times with money on it, right? Someone like Chone, you're gonna give someone that name. That pops up right at the end and it says, focus on this thing. So you could say Xíxch, Xíxch. They're doing a very similar thing. It's just like putting a little bit of extra emphasis on it. So that's where you see Yek'e, Yek'echa, Ye'ah, Ye'aweh, Yechawe. So cha and aweh gives you chawe. Yechayati, if you are from Yakutat, that is an appropriate response to Xíxch. However, I won't say who, I'm not going to start any wars. Someone once told me, I don't like how they say Yechayati when you say Xíxch. I was like, that's just how they talk there. It's okay. Dialect thing. It's a dialect thing.
Sorry to go back, but would you like when I hear stories like Sháatk, you would you fall under the ha?
You is a different word, and it means they say. This is part of oratory, especially in storytelling. Haida has a very similar thing it uses all the time, and it just says, the way it functions in a story is saying, this is what people say. And so it's saying like, I'm not just making it up, this is what they say. It could be used outside of storytelling as well, just to say, here's a common phrase or something like that. Good question. Cool, Kwasa.
Yechayati. Kind of wondering is Achawe and Yechayati. Achawe, is that it's like that all the time? Is that what it's more like than that's how it is?
Achawe is because of that, or that is why.
Okay.
You can say Achaya, because of this is why.
I see.
Tied to something else. Like you say, we were here, then we moved here. Because of that, we're called this now. That's where you hear Achawe quite a bit. It's usually saying, this thing happened. Because of that, now this other thing. Like I could say, Yechat Yasakash, the cut at Hosaku, Achawe just the cut at Kakwaach. No, just the cut at Kakwawus Adan. He told me he knows everything. That's why I asked him about everything.
And that's probably you could say Achawe Yechayati, huh?
Yeah, That's why it is that way. That's why it's really that way. So for something like that, you could say, yes, this is what, there was this debate a while back about whether someone was getting upset about using the term we imitate our ancestors. And I was trying to say, like, well, this comes from Shinget. This is what people say all the time. Cha'akaya yegachtusene. Achawe yechayati. Cha'akaya yegachtusene. So we say we're going to imitate our ancestors. That's why we're really going to do it. Okay.
Xíxch.
Xíxch. Xíxch.
Xíxch.
Aawasháa Xíxch.
Aawasháa Xíxch.
Aawasháa Xíxch.
Aawasháa Xíxch.
Yekwati.
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 Let's say it will be. Smart. Oh, where'd I go? All the way back to the beginning? Okay, anything about that line? Atlin Xíxch. Atlin Xíxch. Xíxch. Get a long one. Aawasháa saya hachuch iti. Aawasháa saya. Yahachuch iti. Okay. Any questions about that row or thoughts?
Is this a plural U?
It's a singular U, or else it would be that. Okay. Shikudzi. Shikudzi. Ashaach chun. Ashaach chun. Achukikayati.
Ayati.
Achukikayati. How hot ear good.
How hot
ear good.
How hot ear good.
How hot ear good.
Neshko.
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 You do a eek. You do a eek.
You do a eek.
Skagach to sneak.
Skagach to sneak.
Skagach to sneak.
Skagach to sneak.
Gunnar Xíxch satini.
Gunnar Xíxch
Gunnar Xíxch satini.
Gunnar Xíxch
This phrase tells you that Gunnar Xíxch is a verb. Wasa ituayati.
Wasa ituayati.
Wasa ituayati.
Wasa ituayati.
Hey, Let's pause. We hit number 50. How's everybody feeling? Do you folks want to do something different? Stop the share for a second. Wasai tuuch the katuhan. Dasai wasaku. Any language thoughts, questions? You got 50 people here to talk to. Any big speeches?
I got some haikus for you guys. If that's okay, should I share it?
Ah.
Okay. All right, let me see. How do I make this screen large?
Looks good.
Oh, thank you.
Ah.
Okay. Fit to window, maybe?
Got a little play button on the bottom.
Yeah, that's on the bottom. There you go. That's what I'm looking for.
It's like the old CD.
Yes. So my first one, Yakuha. Duke Yakanahyek Hunuk Aktuutsu. Kal Ach Katli Ich. So I'm trying to do 575 Duke. I was trying to do plural cottonwood trees, and Yakanahyek, that they're swaying back and forth in plural because of what comes next. Hunuk, hun, one syllable, nuke, one syllable. I think I could have done hun aktuu nuktu instead of what I wrote here. What I'm trying to say is I feel that north wind too in my soul.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And kashach kadli ich. Kashach is, see that leaf right there? That's on that diagram, that yellow looking one. That's what they look like on the trees around here. And they're about dried out and ready to fall, and they'll fall all day. You see falling leaves like this around Klekwan. And when it's the right time of the day and the sun hits those leaves, they make this reflection that sparkles when they're falling or when they're still hooked to the tree when the wind's blowing them back and forth. And that's what I'm trying to say right there with Kash Ach Kardi Ich. So that's my first one. Xíxch. So my second one's about my auntie, Kimberly Strong. Xíxch, that's her name. So Chatke Asnuch. Wakshiyik ye anasnech. Kunaschish achat. So Chat, one syllable, K, one syllable, 3, Asnuk. Am I right about that? Did I get that right?
Ah.
Okay, always lifting me up.
Oh, maybe
and
kechat nasnukch.
Oh, okay. Kechat. Say that last part.
Well, the K is the preverb part, and so the object should be right next to the verb. So it's just kechat nasnukch.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Kechat sanukch.
Sanukch. So it doesn't have that A in front then, huh?
Yeah, that A is because they lift them or it, but if that it becomes you, then that just switches back to sa.
Oh man, that's 4. Okay. Well, anyways.
And that's a tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
Someone
That's the challenge.
why would the letter A go away? Why would it go from chat sanukch to asnukch? That's a tricky one. Can anybody tell me what makes that A go away? Why wouldn't it be asanukch?
Does the object and subject both have to be third person?
That's what causes the A, the to pop up there. But something causes the to get knocked out. This classifier is actually sa, but that letter A gets deleted. Does anybody?
Is it the 3 strikes rule?
It's not the 3 strikes rule.
Well, that's the challenge I wanted. So strike one on that one. That's okay though.
It's okay.
So,
It's okay.
yep.
Okay,
Wak
this is
Shi.
the third person If is right next to a classifier with the letter A, it's going to knock that A out of the classifier.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
That's wonderful. Good.
the second one, I wasn't sure if I could use it this way. I could have said cut wak shi ye on a snake. I was trying to cut out one syllable, so I kept it wak shi ye on a snake, always showing how. Does it work like that?
It's a stretch. It should probably be ka wak shiyik or ach wak shiyik.
I thought I'll take it anyway. I tried. I couldn't really get into that 7th on that one. Anyways, my
rules. That's what poets do.
Hey man, if Snoop Dizzle can do it, so can I. Hey, so anyway, she's from the Wolf House, and that's why the wolf is there.
Yeah.
And the last one, just caught. Kanadai hin. Shashaki Shadakatye. Shadakat Agi. Now, I wanted to do Flowing River, the Jilkot, that all goes down to way up there by Yandastakya and all the way up to the glacier, pretty close to on the other side of the mountains of Skagway. And then we've got Shashaki Chadakatye. If you see that picture in the background, there's mountains surrounding all of Chilkat, everywhere you go, and mountaintops. Chadakatagi. This might be a stretch. This one might be a stretch. And trying to fit those 5, So what I'm trying to say is all the people related, Jilkat people, were all one. And by doing that, by saying cut all and Tagi, referring to, my clan peoples, my comrades, my family, and referring to all just Kak, which is not just Klakwan, as you see in the picture behind. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. You might be the greatest Tlingit haiku writer who's ever lived.
The only one, that's why. No, just kidding. Thank you.
Those are so wonderful. Xíxch, I love it. Counting syllables and fitting things and bending rules. It's okay. It's all good. It's fun stuff.
Kutsi away.
Xíxch.
Yeah, the haiku challenge has been issued. If anyone else wants to give it a shot, go for it. Anybody else want to share anything? Ask any questions? Oh, Chat Yan Uwaha, Yakeke Eathai, Shashka Nishi.
I'm hungry.
I just wanted to say real quick, I loved your haiku. And I do a lot of haiku. I just wanted to say that they were amazing. And also it doesn't have to be 575. I don't know if you know that, but that's just like the general thing. It can actually be any number of syllables. It's just typically 3 lines. So I think you're fine. And I really enjoyed them. Xíxch.
Oh, I appreciate that. Xíxch. Xíxch, Johan.
Nora called poetry Achiyuchatunk. Song language.
How do we follow along with the great Tlingit haiku poet?
We
want more.
How do you say encore and sing
Yeah.
it?
Oh, yeah. Tuk.
I had something I wrote for my English class. I didn't want to write it. I tried not to write a lot of it in English, but I wrote some of it in Tlingit. I can share the screen. I got two screen. I got a screen over here and one right here. Hang on. And I didn't get to check any of it or anything. I just put it together. Xíxch adetak G to sikut katan katanach ya koshek ya aya cheat ye ya waka plus wasa uti takat ha kan ye ya waka khega ka ya nandakin ka gi uwakut hook janach. For like I said, it's for my English class, and I had to write a story, and it's kind of like I had to reimagine the story. I heard a little snippet of Cheat. He was a Chukanady. He was a little person, and he this old timer on this really old recording said he remembered a story, a Cheat killing like 20 people on a Yauk, and so for my English class, I kind of like had to reimagine the whole story and just rewrote it in my own words and what happened.
Yuck, hey. So let me try, let's see. I'll try something. Go find it. I don't know if we'll get through this whole thing, but we'll try. Some of you have probably seen this before. This is Xíxch, Sháatk, Aawasháa. This is a project I did with Shakshani and Kachwan Ish. It reminded me, your folks sharing reminded me of this because we had a story that was written in English, and I took it to them, and they didn't know the story, but they know Tlingit, so they translated it. This was funded by Klingon Haida. True confession, one time I put a graphic up there and it said Central Council Haida and Tlingit, which I made as a joke because I think it's funny. Then I lost track of my logos and I accidentally put that up and shared it with people. But you could clearly see the evidence shows. This says Tlingit and Haida. World Heritage Foundation also paid these elders good money to do their work. So I'm really happy that they did. Because our elders should get so much money, the ones who could do this kind of work. And it was also funded through UAS. Yashkashnikach tuasuku edeka kwashadniki. Hastuch edachayakach shechit kachon ish kashakshani. Yaduhu. Wasa hastu yiqacha tutlatish. Chatak yaki awe. Hastu yade. Yan katlakwch. Ye awa achtuun ya nikon kanins. Achoy achtuasagu has kachwawusi. Ya hayu katangi dan. Kanachoy has ach eat has with the sheen. Kanachoy has tullaan. Kanachoy has with litzin. Has to tuu with litzin kanachaya. I get really lonely for them. They really helped me a lot. I used to work with them every Friday. Drive over to George's house. Marge's husband Richard would drive her over and would work for an hour or two translating stuff, and they would answer all the questions I had. There's so many things I just don't know, and they were so good about figuring out what I was trying to ask them about. And we had a lot of fun. Anybody want to read this sentence? You get the translation right there.
Yaduchat. Ya shaklaqai Yées Sháatk. We Tlingit anik yeyati.
Xíxch, shaklaqai Sháatk. We Tlingit anik yeyati. Anybody want to read that one?
Shaya deheni kakawa hastu tuasuku dushai koa dutuye yati hastu kayanach yake.
And Xíxch. Shiateheni kakawa hastu tuasuku dushai Kuadutuyeti hastukaya nachyak. Hey. How about that one?
Astuani dagige. We are Tlein kudziti.
Hey. Hastuani takige. We are Tlein kudziti. How about that one?
Ledahin aya, dukik tin yaak ad yadak, de hashuat.
Xíxch. Cleidehinaya du kik tin. Ya ach ayach de hasfuat. Who wants to read that one?
Shayatiheni kich a kayak asyawaki.
Xíxch. Shia dehini Xíxch. Ach ayach hasyawaki. Oops. Who wants to read that one? Xíxch. Qua. Has atshi. They didn't know what a frog sound, but it was in this other story about this guy who made a sound like a frog. That's how they wrote it. So who wants to read that one?
Chakshikeye shot plus a kawashuk. Kurachi yakusheki yakusheji.
Goodness, Xíxch. Shakshaqay Sháatk Hasakawashuk. Kudachyi Yakshaji. There might be some useful things you're going to learn in here, but don't say that stuff to animals. Disclaimer. That's how you'd say someone's really. It means you are really hideous looking. It's not a nice thing to say, but now you know how to say it. Oh, a kawashuk is to laugh at something. Usually in a mean way. There's another way to say, you could just say, has ashuk. She laughed at them. But a kawashuk would be like really laughing at someone.
Would I'm laughing be chashuk or chadashuk?
Like you could say, at chashuk, I'm laughing.
Oh, at chashuk.
Chashuk, I'm laughing at it. Chashuk, I'm laughing at you. So there's an object, subject, laughing at the object. Hey, who wants to read this one? Oh, let me check the chat. Oh, wait, same one. Sorry. That one. Who wants to read that one? Xíxch. Yindish gaudatan. Ka'ach ayach dach. Aawasháa Xíxch. I'm just going to read it.
Wakli talk. Akligini. Ye Aawasháa. Tlak ayanach awe. Klet iakus an. Klet ade Xíxch. Aawasháa ye.
Xíxch. Awakletak outlekidni Aawasháa. Tach ayanach awe tlech iakus an. Klet ade Xíxch. Aawasháa. They laughed so hard when they translated this line, but don't. It's useful, but don't use it. How's that? A wakshatak out tlekini. It's like looking him right in the eyes. Who wants to read this one?
Idach ka cook Xíxch.
Xíxch. Idach ka kuch Aawasháa. This one.
We tat yin hidekat ya kuu yan has wukeku ya yis Sháatk at wugut.
Xíxch. We tat yin hidekat ya kuu yan has wukeku ya yis Sháatk at wugut. We only got 5 minutes. We gotta go fast. Should I just read them? Xíxch. Okay, it's the last slide for open reading. I will read the rest. We can come back to these either next time we get together in our individual classes. I'll put this slideshow up as well, so you guys have it. I think it's a great story. Yíska kaketiwakut, yiskau ausatin. Dudna ati kakashetsini sait, kasiye yitsu yakyati kawut, akaye wuti, kua duwak kayati. Dutuwak yaksaan. Ikashat ayahat khwagut, ye ayawsaka. Khanaku ya ach ish hitite. Ya ach anich wushkach tu desha. Ya yi Sháatk du tu ye yeti we yis ka. Tlach konach yak sa ane ka. Hel du yach uch satin jin. Ach tu asagu du shat chatwusti ye. Kinde shak satan good shat haskau du watlet. Awe yinde da kas uwa at Tlein. Heshta ayabulqin, qachakugeyi weyanakut hinde. Dukhanatin yayi Sháatk hin tade haswu art. Ha Tlein ya hintaka hasyawa at. Utat away yayi Sháatk in kashtakat yaku. Ausatin hel at kuste. Ktakat ye taskuwa shidu iqa. Satko yeqa kakus ite has ausatin. Kinde hasakawa ke. Has ausatin kakus ite hinde wulashu. Wutahunak ye has awaji yis Sháatk. Ishantain qahdashi has awashi.
Aawasháa. Oh.
Cleich egi awe ya singitani dachka ya ach ayach dewugut. Akawe ausatin ya yi Sháatk. Put kat katudach ya saki ya Xíxch. Kat ya dudach ya saki. Duchant uagut. Akawa ak ajidach awas nechi. Ku ahin de has our hood. We Xíxch equani. Kut tau jehia on de. Ya ye Sháatk in aug. Ha! Nasatin ya ye see. Tleshwasa utiko a we Xíxch equani hook away ho. We Xíxch equani quak a yaw saka. Ye yaw a qad du keek. A joe has our sanich. Xíxch equani ku utu a coward sets. Ya ye Sháatk in aug. Ya ach ayach de haswu art. Has has our satin. Ka hasakawa ach case our chudi. We Xíxch equani ku ahin. Has ashji watan. Du Xíxch a lletini ka u ati we Xíxch equani has uji de ye ausane. Wushia na de tsik ka ye aya u atcha hin de ye ausane. Ach ye has ausane we atcha ka lletini ka u ati. Ko a tlech has tu ji a ji wa nak. Ya has tu si. Du Xíxch you ane kwan has chikawa ach. We ahini anach ka guch shakuchu ye has kayaw kushayi. Kuyaw kushayi Kwan has tu ye wuti we Xíxch equani. Hasakawa ach hasakawa tani we Tlingit ku'u. Ja'an we ku'uj. Ja'a has Aawasháa. Hinde case our shit. We Xíxch equani shata hani ye o ka. Yashingatani ku'uj och case anastin yaha ani. Has tu jite kuchkach tu sanuk ya ye Sháatk. Ya ye Sháatk ash Aawasháa Xíxch hel tu toa oshku aji wanaqi. Du dat kautle dutl. Ya an ku'u. Gedein ach has ausanuk. Kahin de kuch has ausanuk. Ne tle has aji watan. Ye go want away. As Xíxch yuch ayatank. Kanachawe du wakt kakao du waduch. Satku yeka tush enach yuch atanknik. Yadu ane kwan ku'u. Ich auslatiu. Ye Xíxch chashiri. Ade has kutzati ye Xíxch equani adat has tu ina kawani. Has tu in kunach dak hasakawanik. Shingitu katangi hasakaya achwe Xíxch. Shilkwak has ye sakak. Has ye kwach sanich. Ya du shingit ani dach ku'u. Has du chaitas wasa ach. Ya atu yukaut ze git yachuste. Ya Xíxch hai has uwahain. Adachawe wudutsuku at ya awune has tu jich tu tiyi we Xíxch equani. Goodness Xíxch, you kecha Johan. I had to go a little fast at the end, but I'll post the thing. It's there. There's a video of this on YouTube as well. I think I'm reading it a lot slower. It was fun to see everybody. Keep going. Stay strong. See you all next week. Yigoya Juan Atlein Goodness Xíxch.
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 Cut your honey.
Tlein.
Xíxch.
Oh, Claudia. Tlein Quasatin, Johan.
Stop singing. Stop singing. Sháatk.
Tlein Quasatin.
Hey.